This is ink, and this is going to be a very different kind of episode because you see, a while ago I was admiring the stamps on my desk. Beautiful engraved postage stamps. And of course it was the design and the artwork that just blew my mind. Had me thinking, these engraved stamps with fine lines and dots that make these gorgeous pictures, they're incredible. Can I make my own engraved artwork? And can I print it? I mean, how hard can it be? It's just lines and dots, right? Well, it's been several months of messing around, and with some help from a friend, or really a lot of help from a friend, I'm about to try and print my own unique artwork that was engraved on copper plates. So let's do this. Let's have some fun exploring the world of engraved postage stamps on this episode of #Flatly. When I decided to explore the art of engraving and print my own unique artwork from engraved copper plates, I realized that there was going to be a small issue or challenge that I was going to face. You see, I'm not very artistic, and I can barely even write neatly, never mind draw a picture. And even when I have attempted to draw something on this channel, I've been told that my drawing skills are limited. So I needed help.
Hey buddy, what's up?
Meet Jerrit, my friend since the very first grade. We grew up together in a town called Edenvale in the province of Gauteng of South Africa. And today, Jerrit lives and works in Cologne, Germany. Jerrit was always better than me at a number of things, including running, video games, school, and of course, art. In fact, Jerrit has quite a passion for art and has continued to paint, draw, and experiment on canvas.
I'm looking to create line engraved artwork, inspired of course by my love for line engraved stamps. I knew it was going to be something about stamps. I just knew it.
Do you still have your stamp collection, by the way?
Never mind the dust. Okay.
Oh, and quick fun fact, Jerrit was the one who actually introduced me to stamp collecting when we were 8 years old.
Is this the same one that I would have seen back in...
This is the exact same one that you saw, yeah, like, when was that? Like, we were 8,
It must have been in the early 90s, like 1994, like, maybe 93, 94.
It hurts to say, but it's about 30 years ago. I don't know if you recognize any of those.
Yeah, these were the stamps that got me excited about stamp collecting, because you would show this to me at your house. And I wanted to go ahead and do something similar.
From the Olympics?
I remember buying that one with you.
There we go.
And we bought that one at the same time. The African Cup of Nations. Yeah, hold it up. African Cup of Nations, 1996 there.
There we go.
There we go, 1996, African Cup of Nations. That's when South Africa was actually good at soccer. We got those at the same time. This was our thing, is that we would go maybe like on a Friday, after school.
We used to spend all our pocket money on
our pocket money. Well, I used to get like R3.50 a week, and then I'd go blow for all 4 months of my pocket money on a couple bags of stamps. Oh, you got a whole set of those. I would have been very jealous if I saw this. I'll send you over some stamps. I have a box.
I was about to say, you got a whole box. Just send me like a small box, and I'll pull a random stamp and be like, wow, okay, I'm back into it.
Okay, that's it. That's all I need you to do. I'll get you back in. So what I had in mind is it possible for us to create some stamp-like artwork? Because I really don't know what exactly it entails. I've done like no research on this. I figure that maybe you and I could just go along and figure it out as we go. But I mean, it's like, you can see it's like a matter of lines and dots. Seems quite simple, like how hard can it be? And I don't necessarily want an actual stamp, because I don't think we have the time or skill set, but I want to be able to create something like this, maybe smaller, quite a bit smaller at least, not stamp size, but smaller, and see what we are able to accomplish. You've never engraved before, have you?
School, I used to do some liner cutting in art class. That is like a type of engraving, I suppose. And I do remember my dad giving me like an old dentist drill that he found somewhere, and I used to play around with the drill bit on the front, on the tip, and used to like engrave initials and stuff like that. And I remember that, but that's as close as I came to engraving. So I'll have to have a look into it, and I'll give you a call after that, and we'll see what goes.
Stamps have been printed in several different styles and methods over the last 180 years. In its simplest form, there are 4 methods of printing: intaglio, relief, planographic, and embossing, each with their own benefits and limitations. Although each style is interesting in its own right, intaglio is the process that I most admire, where the artwork has been carved by some method onto a plate, and those carvings, those lines, are filled with ink, which then transfers onto the paper when it's been pressed against the plate. The opposite is relief printing, kind of like using a rubber stamp or letterpress. The elevated pieces of the plate receive the ink, and that transfers the image onto the paper. Now, of course, those styles have largely made way for other printing styles today, including lithography and offset lithography that also prints posters, maps, and books in high volume. But I often find that stamps printed in those styles leave me less connected to the artwork. I feel more removed from the artist versus the old engraved stamps that were printed using plates. Of course, feel free to disagree with me and comment below.
So what have you found?
So basically, to do intaglio, we're going to need a way to print onto paper, and we're going to need a printing press. And I did do some research, and I tried to find a printing press that's affordable, but these things are way expensive, dude. I mean, we're not going to manage to afford anything like that for a project, right?
Why don't you just use like a rolling pin or something?
It's not a bad idea. That's practically what it's all about, but it's going to be a total mess. So we're not going to be able to do that. It's not going to work. We're not going to have enough pressure onto the paper. So we're going to actually need a printing press. And what I did do is I did a bunch of research, and I found a startup in Cologne, Germany, and they actually put plans for a 3D printer online. So what they actually do is they take a 3D printer and they print a printing press with a 3D printer. And it's a whole bunch of parts that get printed out, and you assemble it, and then it's like a miniature printing press for your desktop table type of thing. And it's ideally sized for printing stamps, postage stamps.
No, I love this idea, but you lost me with the whole 3D printing press thing. How big is it though? Like, is it like a bread box? What are we talking about?
So it's not going to be a huge printing press. It's going to be a small printing press, maybe like about 15 centimeters tall, about 10 centimeters wide. And basically for your desktop. So you put it on your desk, you clamp it onto your desk, and you can get started printing.
And we're getting real postage stamp size?
So we're probably going to need like a microscope to get to the size of a postage stamp. And the skill set, I mean, I probably don't have the skills to do that in the next couple of weeks. So it's going to be a little bit bigger than a postage stamp, probably like about 5 times the size of a postage stamp, but it's pretty close.
That's a lot closer than I thought. I was just thinking just a bit smaller than these, but if we can get to that size, I think that would be pretty cool.
I think that's doable. I'm up for the challenge.
What do you need from me? How are we going to get this printing press, and what do you need me to send you?
Right, so don't worry about the 3D printer. I'll sort that out. I've got a friend that has a 3D printer. And the Open Press project actually has the plans online for free for anyone to download. So anyone can go ahead and get the plans and print. What I'm going to need from you, I'm going to need copper plates. I'm going to need a ton of copper plates. I'm going to need engraving tools, and I'm going to need some sort of magnifying glass, something like the jewelers use, something like that.
Those headsets. Yeah.
That would be very helpful, yeah.
Yeah, got it.
With the mission now defined and my next steps laid out, I wasted no time in procuring the appropriate items that Jerrit had requested, including, of course, the magnifying headset. These were all then well packaged and shipped off to Jerrit in Germany. In the meantime, Jerrit was having a friend 3D print the printing press using the plans provided by the Open Press project. I also spent some time checking out the Open Press project's social media, looking at the artwork that others were producing using their printing presses, and ultimately purchasing my own 3D press for when I can eventually print my own stamp.
So you got everything. Everything arrived okay?
Yeah, I got everything. I had to pay 30 euros though to get it.
Maybe I was a bit too honest on the customs form. I'm sorry, man. 30 euros is heavy. Anyway, did you have any success with the printing press at all?
Yes, I did. Are you ready?
The big reveal. The big reveal. What is it? Show me.
Here it comes.
Wow. Look at that.
How's that? How's that for a printing press?
Did it print the whole thing at once, or did it print it in pieces and you had to build it?
No, it printed in pieces. There are quite a few pieces, and you had to get these screw things on the side as well. We got those at a hardware store. And then it had to be assembled. There's like a few assembly pieces that you put together like a puzzle piece.
Oh.
And yeah, it's even got like a turning thing on the side. It's got a printing bed.
That moves like the little bed back and forth.
Yes, it's got adjustment knobs to adjust the pressure you print with.
That's incredible. I mean, I don't think you're as mind blown as me, but can I just take a moment to really appreciate the fact that you printed the printer. The printer was printed. This is ridiculous.
Printing press was printed on a 3D printer. Yeah.
You printed the press.
A printing press, simply put, is a machine that transfers ink from plates or type onto paper. Originally believed to have first been invented in China, they revolutionized communication within society, with the Gutenberg press as a perfect example in 1440 that profoundly impacted Europe with the mass production of literature in books, pamphlets, and newspapers. Now, that was great for printing relief, rolling ink onto typeface and pressing against paper. But how did they do intaglio printing? How did they print the penny black? The penny blacks were printed by Perkins Bacon & Co., a printing company that utilized a press to roll pressure over paper and the inked plate. Pressure was critical to cleanly transfer the ink from the grooves onto the paper. This was done by turning a large wheel that fed the paper and the plate through cylinders that created the necessary pressure. I had the pleasure of seeing one of these Perkins printing presses at the British Library, the last surviving one, and still fully functional. Now, Jerrit's 3D printed mini press will be doing the exact same thing as the Perkins Bacon printing press. Jerrit will be able to pass the plate and paper through the pressure cylinder via turning the handle.
So I was looking at some of the artwork that people were doing from using the 3D printed press, and I was quite impressed. The art is incredible. So the art form's not dead. People are actually doing it.
I'm just as impressed as you are. I wasn't actually aware that there's such a big community out there that is practicing this form of art.
So what are we trying first then?
I don't think we should do anything too unique to start off with. I think we should stick with the classic just to get the hang of things.
Okay, all right. I'm down for that. What do you have in mind?
I think it's one of your favorite ladies, Marion de Gandon.
Yes.
Marion de Gandon is a very special stamp for me. It's the stamp that brought me back into the hobby. And while Marion was the subject of the very first episode on this channel, she's also the perfect example of relief versus recess printing. Designed by the famous French engraver Pierre Gandon, the allegoric figure of Marion was modeled after his own wife and is an iconic French definitive that symbolizes a resilient and recently liberated country during the Second World War in 1945. The design was requested from Charles de Gaulle himself, having just returned from exile, and while there was some criticism of her haggard, confused look, Gandon would quickly point out that this was the face of someone emerging from the devastation of war. To me, it's a beautiful piece of art. Now, as I mentioned, the printing aspect of these stamps makes for a very good example for us to explore when it comes to engraving. In February of 1945, Marion de Gandon was issued in 3 different versions, an international rate and a high-value rate that is in a larger format. These were intaglio printed. Gandon himself had engraved the design. And the final and more common version was typography printed, relief. Using Gandon's design, it was engraved by Henry Courteau. These stamps were used internally. They were cheaper to produce. Now remember, these 2 styles of printing, recess and relief, are opposite of each other. Recess is placing the ink inside the finely cut grooves in the copper plate, versus relief placing the ink on top of the raised parts of the copper plate. This totally changes the quality of the artwork that you're able to achieve, and you can see the difference in quality between these 2 styles. Marion de Gandon pure intaglio and Marion de Gandon de Courteau typography, relief. HD quality, SD quality.
So the plate came out quite spectacular. I think it's a fantastic looking plate. The image, she's kind of ghostly, but I can kind of see her. But I think we've got a lot of room for improvement, right?
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about the plate as well. I'm very happy with the results. I didn't expect it to turn out so good, but like you already said, we definitely have a lot of room for improvement. Definitely.
Well, then, can you walk me through the process? How did we get here?
So this is an intaglio process. It's actually called dry point, and it's actually just scratching an inverted image into the copper plate and using a sharp tool. Yeah, I started off with engraving. Engraving is basically using the sharp tool and actually, pushing the sharp tool into the copper plate and creating burrs. The only problem is with engraving is that it's pretty much restricted to straight lines. So getting a curvy line with an engraving tool is, very, very hard. And that's why I went on to do the dry point, which actually involves using an etching needle like this one. It's got a very hard tip. And using this hard tip, you can scratch into the surface of the copper plate and create lines. And the dry point technique allows you to create more curvy lines, like the hair over there in the corner. Yeah. See that? Yeah. Using the dry point is a lot easier to create those lines. And so what I actually had to do is trace the image onto tracing paper, inverted the image onto the copper plate. Then you can start scratching away using your etching needle. And the most fun I had on this one was actually the cross hatching in the back. I once I finished the face and the letters, I used the ruler and started making cross hatching lines in the back.
What's cross hatching?
Cross hatching is that over there. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh.
I think you can see it now.
Oh, so it's like just
those lines that are crossing each other. And those crossed over lines actually create a very, very dark background. Well, that's what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
The plate's excellent.
The plate isn't bad. I'm very, very happy with it, like I said, but the actual printed picture didn't turn out as good. I'll show you a few that I did have. I think that was the first one I got out. You can't see anything on that one. Then I did another one. That's what it turned out. It's getting a little bit better. That was my third print.
She's starting to show up. She's emerging.
Yeah. Then that's my fourth print.
Getting better. And that was my final print I actually did.
Oh, that's actually quite good. Oh, I mean, a heck of a lot better. That's nice. Okay, I can see her.
Yeah, you can see her. You can see her hair. You can see a bit of detail, which is great. She looks three-dimensional in a way.
That's incredible. That's a lot of hard work, man. I'm just glad it was you, not me.
I loved it, dude. I love the process. It's just great seeing. It's like different using paper or using a pencil and drawing onto paper. This is a copper plate we're talking about. We're scratching an image into a copper plate that we're going to use to make a print.
Yeah.
And seeing the image come to life while printing, that's the next cool part about this whole process, because you print like a first print and you see how good it is, and you can always like rework the plate to make the print even better.
Yeah, but it's like two pieces of art right there, right?
It's two pieces of art. So you have the plate, that's the first piece, and you can use this plate to print as many of the prints you want. So it's like basically two pieces of art. So you have the plate and you have the actual print. And yeah, I think that's just amazing.
They both qualify. And the print itself is a result of the original. It's different. Like if you were to take a photograph of one of the canvases and you call that a print, you want to buy a print from me. Cool, you bought a photograph of it. But this
is an original. So it's an
original in its own sense.
Yeah.
It's an original from the original. I love it.
Yeah.
So do you have any ideas on how we can improve this?
I think what we got to do is we got to try a different type of intaglio. So we got to go from the dry point that I've used in this plate and try etching. It sounds a whole lot more fun and sounds a bit dangerous because you're actually using acid to change. Yeah, using actual acid. So that's actually the thing that captivated me the most, because I'm using acid to make art, which is pretty cool. But the acid should actually be used to eat away at the copper plate, and yeah, I've got to see how that works. But I'm going to research that and get into that.
Okay, so we're going to do Marion de Gandon again.
No, we're going to do something that both of us would like a lot.
Okay.
Can you guess which stamp that's going to be? It's the blue Mauritius, dude.
The blue Mauritius.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be worth it. That's so good on so many levels. I love it. Let's do the blue Mauritius.
The blue Mauritius post office is simple, crude, valuable, and well, it's blue. It's an icon in the stamp world, known for its high value and rarity. Just a few exist today. Apart from the first printing that had the words post office and then was later replaced with post paid, these Mauritius stamps were designed to look like the UK's tuppenny blue, a level of quality that could simply just not be matched. The engraver, Joseph Osmond Barnard, used Intaglio for the printing. But as you can see, Intaglio doesn't guarantee a high definition image. It's still all about the skill set of the artist. The closest stamp that I have to a post office blue Mauritius is this post paid blue Mauritius that is torn in the one corner. And even while it is torn, it happens to be one of my favorite stamps in my collection. There is something about its design, or really the crudeness of the image, that gives you the feeling that it is old, almost ancient, even though it is still a 19th century artifact. I've always regarded the blue Mauritius as one of the coolest stamps out there, and clearly Jerrit likes it as well. While Jerrit began working on the blue Mauritius, I was on a trip to the London 2022 stamp show and had the pleasure of meeting Martin Mork, famous engraver who had recently engraved the image of another famous engraver, Czeslaw Slania, for the celebration of the centenary of his birth. I had even shown Martin our progress thus far, and while he complimented the work, in speaking to him I realized how disciplined and skilled the engravers of postage stamps really are. They had an eye for perfection, and the work they do is just incredible. Martin was even kind enough to draw out some of his processes as I continued to bombard him with questions. And when I asked him what he does if he made a mistake on the plate, he replied that he doesn't make mistakes. Wow. If somebody is interested in becoming an engraver,
in going into the art space with engraving, banknotes, stamps, what do you suggest that they do?
Start making drawings in engraving style, because that is what takes years to learn. So I think how the lines is covering a volume, and that is it's just you don't do it. You have to learn it by mistakes and hard work for years.
Oh wow, look at these. Jerrit outdid himself here. These are impressive.
Nailed it, man. This is brilliant. The lines are clear. The artwork is dead on. This is a bigger version of the post office Blue Mauritius. I mean, I'm impressed.
It was a challenge. It was hectic, dude. But it was so much fun getting it right. And the result is just amazing.
So you sent me this, right? And this was the plate you used, was actually, you used acid this time. And I still don't know exactly how you did that. Can you walk me through the process?
Yes, it's like another form of intaglio. It's the etching process, right? And the etching process involves you taking a copper plate and actually painting a asphalt-based chemical onto it. This is the one I used. It actually protects the plate. It's like seals the plate in. You got to paint like the front and the back. The complete plate gets sealed in. And then once that's dried, it takes a few hours to dry. And once that's dried, you can start actually scratching into the surface of the plate. So picture this plate, because I don't have one here. Picture this plate, this one over here. This is a brand new one. Picture this plate being black. And then using a sharp object, this one over here.
Use the same etching needle.
I actually used the same needle, yeah. So I did the same process as before. I transferred the image with tracing paper onto the black surface. And then using the needle, or the etching needle is the right terminology, I scratched the image into the plate. I didn't press too hard because obviously I did have like a coat of the etching ground on the plate, right? And which means that you aren't actually scratching into the copper plate. You're actually scratching away the ground. That's the whole point about etching. And
so is that a lot easier then? That's a lot easier than dry point.
It's a lot easier because you're not using as much pressure, and you can work more freely. The way your hand like moves, creating lines.
You're not pushing, you're not carving much.
You're not carving it away, exactly. You're just scratching away the surface of the ground. All the spaces that have been scratched away will be eaten at once this gets laid into an acid bath. So what I actually got is, I actually have some over here. It's called ferric chloride solution. It sounds ridiculously dangerous. Once the image has been scratched onto the metal plate, the plate gets laid into an acid bath for about half an hour. I'm not too sure if that's right though, but that's like the time span that I used. And after half an hour, you take it out and you wash off the etching ground, and you're actually left with an image in the copper plate. So the acid actually ate away at the copper without the etching ground, and actually forced like a recess into the copper plate, like the one you have in your hand right now. It's like the results of etching.
So it's easier, and the result is superior to the dry point.
Yeah, it's easier, and it's far more detailed. I mean, look at the cross hatching. The cross hatching is legit.
Cross hatching is legit. I know you love your cross hatching, but it's legit. I love it. I really do. So this is it. You figured it out. The process is figured out. We're able to produce stamp-like imagery that is on point.
We can work with it, definitely. I'm up for any challenge now. Time to design your own stamp.
Okay. So bear with me here. For this final stamp that we're going to make, this unique stamp for the Exploring Stamps channel, I want to up it a bit. I want to up the challenge a bit. Right now, you've been producing one color stamp, right?
Yeah.
Let's make it a bicolor. Let's make it 2 different colors on one stamp.
Okay.
Right? And not like, I mean, there's a couple ways we could do it. Like, I think you could see the Bora Bora Girl behind me, right? Her dress is just a different color from the rest of the stamp. Okay. I'm thinking more, let's just do more classic, like a frame that's one color, and then the inside image is another color.
I like the idea of frame and an image in the center. I think that's pretty cool.
And that's just 2 plates, right? That's just using 2 different plates.
Yeah, you're right. You're basically etching 2 plates because we're going to do the etching process again because I fell in love with the etching process. And yeah, basically etch 2 plates and then ink up 2 different plates, and hopefully they'll align and have a good image.
Right. No. Yeah, so I guess we're going to get started on making that design. What's it going to be?
Let's take a profile pic from Exploring Stamps. That's like the core of Exploring Stamps. That's like where it all started, type of thing. So I think that should be your center image.
I don't know, man. That profile picture.
Come on, it's going to be a challenge for me to draw it as well.
All right, I trust you. Let's do it.
Okay. And then we'll figure out like some type of frame thing for the top and the bottom, maybe like, yeah, some numbers and like exploring stamps on the top and the bottom. Yeah, I'll come up with a design. I'll send you a design, and then let's see what you think of it.
Okay, cool. And what do you need from me?
I'm definitely going to need like a high quality picture of your profile.
Oh, well, one thing though, since you're the engraver, right, this unique stamp, you got to put your name somewhere on this stamp, right? So in the blue Mauritius, the engraver had his initials at the bottom right of Queen Victoria, which was pretty nice and low key. Or it could be like Gandon, right? And you can't see it on the Bora Bora Girl, but it's like large Gandon. You got to find a place to put your name. I'll take either. Place it big, small, figure it out.
Yeah, I'll think of something. I'll figure it out.
Brilliant. Now, I'm going to be the one that's actually going to be printing the artwork. So you go ahead, create the plates once we agree on the design, and then make a proof if you need to, like, just confirm that it's good, and then send over the plates to me, and I'll do all the printing on my end. I have an idea, just for the sake of it. I'm actually going to, if I get enough good prints, I'll send one of the prints over to my friends at the British Library, just so that we can go ahead and say that you and me have a piece of artwork in the British Library philatelic department. What do you think to that?
Okay, dude, they're not going to want it. Trust me. I mean, come on.
They're not going to want it. They're not going to want it. But think about it. Even if it's just there for a brief period of time, we can go ahead and say that it's alongside our artwork. Our stamp is alongside the blue Mauritius, the inverted Jenny, and all the other cool stuff, even if it's, slightly off to the left or in the garbage can waiting to get picked up. That's fine, because then we can just, let's do it.
You're an idiot, but yeah, I'm up for it. Go for it, man.
This was an exciting final challenge in our effort to learn more about intaglio printing, now with 2 different colors and plates. For the one plate, I needed to go digging deep in the archives to find the original file of my profile picture. And while Jerrit began working on the design, I got my very own printing press in the mail. Now that the design was ready, Jerrit coated the plates with the asphalt-based chemical. The etching began. He then soaked the plates in acid for 30 minutes. and the results were just perfect. Of course, Jerrit, being a perfectionist, had to quickly run a proof print to make sure the plates were up to his standard. Once approved, Jerrit shipped the plates over to New Jersey for my turn to print my channel's very own Cinderella postage stamp. And that is where we are right now. I have the printing press, the plates, and of course the inks. I have a few different inks to try different color combinations. Now, I'm a little bit nervous because I don't want to disappoint Jerrit after all of his hard work. So let's just hope for the best and see how I do.
It's nice, right? You like it?
Yeah, dude, I love it. I mean, check out those colors. The red is like so vibrant, and even the black it's perfect the way it is. It's great.
Man, I had such a fun time making these. The first one I initially made, I was kind of stressed out about it because there was I didn't anticipate the amount of mess that I was going to create. There was just ink everywhere, and I didn't know what the result would look like. After the first one, or at least by the third one, I started cranking them out.
How many of those prints did you make?
Well, it's actually only 24. So I kind of each print took a lot of energy. Actually, by the 24th one, I was exhausted.
Cranking it through the printing press.
Yeah, well, I mean, each time you had to, of course, clean the plates. And so you had to reset your station each time you had to print it. So I ended up with 24. And the way I went about it is I made 15 with a red and black color combination, standard color of the channel, the initial Exploring Stamps logo, I guess.
Okay, well, I guess it's like YouTube sign as well in the background.
That's true too.
Black and red, so yeah.
Yeah, that's the YouTube play button, you could say, and the YouTube sign. Yeah. So there we go. Cool. That's the standard issue, right? And then I went and did the green and black combination, more so because of my
rhino stamp.
My rhino stamp, right? The 1909 North Borneo stamp. I thought this would be.
I thought you would do those color combinations.
Yeah. Well, this is my favorite color combination of the lot.
I love it. It looks great. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where that inspiration came from. Then I did 5 of those, and then I went ahead and did 3 of the yellow and black combination. Now I'm not entirely sure.
Is that yellow or is that gold? Is that yellow or gold?
I'm going to go with gold. With gold. Let's call it gold. Yeah. One that comes to mind is a Falkland Islands penguin stamp from 1933. But there's a number of stamps out there that have the gold and black combination. I just thought, let me give it a go. I don't know. I'll call that one the Golden Grams. I don't know if you have that cereal there in Germany, but we got the cereal. So that's the Golden Grams.
Not yet.
Yeah. And then I have one where I just did all black, penny black style, But yeah, that's my combination. I wrote the numbers on the back in pencil of the order in which they were printed. So it's 1 through 24. I put a little signature there.
Well, you're the artist, so I mean, the artist does have to sign the art that he makes or creates. So
who is the artist here? Because you are the artist that did the engraving, and I did the printing.
That is a really good question, but I think both of us are the artists because you chose the colors, you did the actual printing, and I did the etching of the plate. So it's like a combination. It's like a two artist combination project.
My theory is, I think you are the prime artist. You are the engraver. You are the one that did the work to create the true original, which I regard as the plates.
The plates
are the true original.
Agreed.
All prints coming from the plate are original in their own sense.
Yeah.
But they require that plate. So I think the true artist here is you, but I will totally take any credit alongside you to be associated with this hard work. Which gets me to a question, Jerrit. Where did you actually follow through and put your name somewhere on the stamp? Because I didn't initially look for it.
I did put my initials on the print on the actual plate. Yeah.
Where is it? I was looking in the palm trees. I was looking in the. Where is it?
It's not hard to find. Seriously, have a closer look. Have a closer look at the stamp you're actually holding with the tweezers.
Oh.
Is there anything familiar in that little stamp, in that little square box? It's my initials.
Brilliant. It's dead center. Your name is literally in the middle of the stamp. Of the stamp.
Yes, of the actual stamp. That's it. That's where it's hidden.
The original, the stamp that I'm holding in the profile is a 1971 11-cent US airmail stamp. I picked that at random. There was no significance to me picking that for the actual.
Well, that is kind of the motto of your channel, right? Random, so
exactly.
Does kind of make sense.
It's brilliant that you put your initials right there, dead center, and I didn't see it at first, which is great. I don't exactly know what I'll be doing with all these. This was just a bit of fun, and they're not collectible items. People won't really want them. Maybe I'll give them to people who ask for them in the comments or something. But I still am going to send 1 or 2 of them to the British Library just for fun. So this whole journey, this last several months of us playing with this, we truly have been learning as we go and really learning about the communities that are out there, about the different processes, about what's available. We've made mistakes along the way, but ultimately we've succeeded in what we initially set out to do, and that was to print stamp-like art. And we got it to quite a small size using a really cool press that was from online. And I just think it's been a fantastic experience.
Got to a point where you can actually say, yeah, we did something unique. We did something great. It is an art form. We learned that it's an art form that's not dying. It's not like in its heydays type of thing. But there is a community out there, and these guys, these artists out there creating extraordinary, extremely cool images using this press. Even, I mean, obviously that's just like a small press, but there's artists out there using the Intaglio process, using humongous presses, and they're creating such cool artworks. But for anybody out there wanting to get started, like that press from the Open Press printing project, it's perfect for starters. I took a milk carton, right? And I actually engraved onto a milk carton, and anybody wanting to try out using a milk carton and scratching images into that and printing it, that works with the Open Press printing press as well.
So you don't even need a copper plate. You can just use a.
You don't even need a copper plate. You can even use plexiglass. Get like that plastic stuff, or any plastic that's flat, or any surface that you can scratch into. You can use that as a printing plate.
So Jerrit, I just want to thank you for one, agreeing to do this when I reached out to you several months ago, and two, just the amount of fun I've had in this project. It's been an exciting journey, and each time we've had our calls, I've been excited about the next update and the next set of tasks that we have to each go and do. I cannot thank you enough for participating in this fun little adventure with me.
I can't thank you enough, because had you not introduced me to this art form, I would have never been I would have never had like the opportunity to actually explore this type of art. And I found something that I really enjoy doing, and I enjoy scratching into a copper plate, which sounds ridiculous, but it's actually really, really cool. And I can't wait to get some more artworks done. I'm not too sure what I'm going to be doing in the future, but I'm definitely going to carry on doing it. And yeah, let's see what the future will hold.
Of course, this video was not at all intended to be a comprehensive look at all of the printing methods out there for stamps, but rather a fun and light exploration into the world of engraved stamps by doing an art project with my friend Jerrit. It was a lot of hard work though, so if you did enjoy this video, please hit that like button and make sure you've subscribed. Also, comment below and let us know your thoughts. I'll leave a number of links in the video description about everything that we discussed, as well as links to the Open Press project and Jerrit's social media, so definitely check them out. As always, thank you for watching and happy exploring.